DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Hi, my name is Mike Schnauder. I hope you'll join me this summer for my show called Sunday with Mike. Each Sunday morning while we're drinking a cup of coffee, I'll go over a few topics that I think might help your DJ business. It's quick, it's free, and you have nothing to lose. So join me each Sunday as I try to help you improve your business. I'll see you Sunday.
Good morning, everyone. It is a lovely Monday morning wherever you are at. Why is it lovely? Because, well, you are going to learn a little bit today about how to have a better business with the one and only Dr. Drax. Good morning, Drax.
Good morning, John. How are you doing on this fine Monday morning?
Doing well, doing very, very well. We have talked business and different aspects of business in many, many videos, and a lot of people have had some great epiphany moments from our videos.
Nice.
So that's been fabulous. But today, we're going to talk a little bit differently than the I don't want to say that we're going to be going on the negative side, but I think we're going to be on the realist side.
Well, I think it's going to be a great conversation today because I've been to a number of conferences over the last 5-6 months, and there's been a recurring theme from people that they'd raised their rates some number of years ago. They'd done really well. They were profiting. They were doing very, very well. But the last 4 or 5 years or so, their business is really tanking. And I've come up with what I believe is the telltale signs of why they're tanking and what they can do about it to resurrect their business from tanking.
Yeah, that I think is, we know a lot of mutual friends and such, and that's a very common method or statement we're getting is that, oh God, it's just, it's tougher today than it was 5-10 years ago.
Yeah, and everybody would like to blame Craigslist DJs, the infamous bottom feeder. The reality is, if you're running a really good business, none of these people really matter.
Yep.
Because, well, we'll talk about the mechanisms of why they don't matter.
Yeah. There's a lot of things, and for those who are thinking, oh, the Craigslist rent, back when we first started, and I'm sure Drax, you saw this. We'd go to a gas station, and on that bulletin board was a guy who would I'll DJ for $100.
Yep,
they've always been there. It's just
the business card, the little thing on the college bulletin boards. And as one of the first people to utilize digital technology, I was always told how I was killing the industry, and technology was going to ruin the industry. And I always said, technology is simply evolving the industry the way that it has always, ever since we went from live music to actually having a way to record an artist onto a medium, be it was tape, and then later became wax, or because that's really how a lot of early records was a soft plastic material.
Yes.
That was not nearly like records were before records disappeared. I mean, to give you an idea, back in those days, literally if you left a record on your desk and the sun could come through the window, you would have a potato chip.
Yep, it would be toast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I hope our audience today is really grasping these ideas and take this top 10 list of why your business is tanking.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, if your business isn't doing what you want it to do, one or more or all of these 10 things is the reason.
Let's run through that top 10 list one more time here.
All right. Number 10, you've lost your hunger and drive. And this typically I see happens in guys that started in their 20s, late 20s, early 30s, or earlier in their 20s. And they're now in their mid to late 40s, 50s, and they're just not as passionate about it as they were 15, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what, folks? This happens in every career.
Oh, certainly.
Whether you're an engineer, a rocket scientist, well, no matter what it is you're doing, at some point, it becomes more of a job.
Yeah.
And the answer to that is you have to focus yourself to reinvigorate and relight the fire and the hunger and the drive that propels you. And until you do that, nothing else is really going to matter, because until you have that hunger and that fire in your gut that you want to make a change, you won't. You'll find excuses, and that's what we have is excuses. People blaming everything and everyone except the person that is most responsible and most in the position to make a change, and that's the person in the mirror. Number 9, or no financial plan for economic stability, i.e. you spend more than you take in. This will sting a little bit. The majority of mobile DJs don't have a company. They're not really in business. They simply created a job for themselves. Now let that soak in for a minute. They created a job. They're not really the owner of a business, running a business. They created a job,
yes,
to which they get a paycheck. And you can find this most typically because they live off their deposits. In essence, they get a deposit for a client 8 months into the future. They're spending that money tomorrow. When I have my DJ business running full time, my premise at that point was, great to get that money, get those bookings. I put that money in the bank and I didn't spend it until the event was over. And it wasn't that I hadn't earned portions or almost all of it prior to the event through the work product of preparation for the event and all of the things incumbent, but it was a question of, I had set a financial plan that said, I don't spend that money until it's earned. It's kind of like, I liken living off deposits as living off payday loans.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking a loan against a check you're going to get in the future. And so you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Number 8, no social media presence. 7, little or no participation in local and national networking groups. Number 6, no post-event surveys to the clients designed to extract critical feedback. Number 5, little or no written feedback from your clients. It means you're not getting them on your Facebook page, tweeting about you, Wedding Wire, The Knot, etc. No metrics is number 4. No metrics in place to monitor your business. For example, I was at a conference in May. I asked a number of DJs, so what's your closure rate? Huh? What's your closure rate? They didn't understand. I said,
no, not a bit.
If 100 people call you, how many hire you at your price? I don't know. And one said, well, 90%. And I said, really? You need to probably double your price. And he goes, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You're always telling people not to do that. And I said, well, I can tell you, if you're booking 90% of everybody that contacts you, you're leaving money on the table. And you want to raise your price until that number drops to 60.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've probably got some elements to work with. Number 3, no sales plan with forecasting on the jobs you do. In other words, you need to predict how many jobs you're going to book that year based on the lead inquiry. Touch back on that. If you go back 10 years and go, for the last 10 years in December and January, we've gotten 50 or 100 inquiries, and this January you only got 20. You ought to know that's going to make a bleak summer. That's most likely going to mean a bleak summer. That's forecasting. That's saying, hey, trending wise, it's trending this way, not trending this way. Failure to have a marketing plan outside of word of mouth is number 2. Have a real marketing plan. If you were a brick and mortar business selling sub sandwiches, you would have more than a signboard on the corner. You would have a marketing plan of how to reach your potential customers. Doesn't mean word of mouth isn't valuable, but don't be one-sided. Don't have only one arrow in your quiver. Have multiple. Develop a plan that uses multiple arrows to target people that would hire you. And number 1, absence of a written business plan. There's nothing you can do more to stabilize your business and make it successful than creating a written business plan. And don't listen to people that tell you, well, I've been in business for 20 years and never had one. Those are people that will probably never retire with a pension and retirement as a mobile DJ. Because I'm telling everyone today, the market is changing, the world is changing, technology is evolving, and the next iteration of technology is going to directly impact the interactions humans do for work, for money. Those things are going to become impacted, and you need to have a business plan that's properly forecasting and identifying these things, because with a written business plan, I can guarantee that almost any DJ can earn a great living as a mobile DJ if they're willing to have a written business plan, do these 10 things, and work at it really hard. I like to say, until your business is making a great amount of money, until everything's firing on all cylinders, you work to live, not live, or you live to work, not work to live. And what that means is, lastly, in the absence of value, everyone shops on price. So the only reason you lose somebody to a Craigslist DJ or a bottom feeder is because you failed to show value. It's not that they failed and had a low price. You failed to justify why you're worth more. And by the way, we need to strike from our lexicon bottom feeders, cheap DJs, Craigslist DJs as some moniker of somebody that's somehow a bad person. Because the truth is, there's only 2 reasons you're not successful at filling your business plan and working 42 events a year. 1, you're not as good as you think you are. You're not as good as you think you are at delivering the services.
And that's a tough one to admit. And as time evolves, not as good can change as you change, because you may not be as good at teen dances, as an example.
Well, and you find a lot of people that did really well, but they kind of developed a plodding plan, and they kind of do the same thing every week, just different names and maybe some different. They plug in different bits of shtick, but they don't truly craft entertainment. And so they plod on. So you're not as good as you think you are. And don't listen to what people tell you on your way out of the venue, because it is rare that anybody walks out of the room and says, dude, you just really sucked. If I wished I could sue you for the 3 hours of my life I lost. That's never going to happen. So they're never going to tell you that.
And if it does, oh my gosh, you had a bad night.
You really did have a bad night. And 2, the second one is you're not as good as you think you are at communicating your value to prospective clients. Those 2 things, they sum it all up. And that comes back to that point about price and value. The only reason you don't get your price is because you failed to show value. It was an interesting quote circulating Facebook recently from Oscar Wilde saying about everybody seems to know everything about price, but knows nothing about value.
Yeah, I saw that.
And everybody's going, yeah. And I wanted to say, how many of you really understand what that was saying? Because that was from 1900, a century and something ago, 120 years ago almost. The mechanism is, do you know your value? Not to you, but do you know your value in the marketplace? Because all markets are different, and that doesn't mean that you can't get better fees in every market. You can. You just have to learn and adapt and market and work to achieve those goals. But more importantly, it buttresses what I've said, which is in the absence of value, everyone shops on price.
Yeah.
Because, and if you don't give your potential customers a reason to buy, they won't buy. And the last couplet I'll leave with you is, I heard from Mitch Taylor. I'm not sure where he got it, but it resonates strongly with me. People buy emotionally and justify logically. So logically, you've got to give them a value proposition that says what they really want to do is worth the $2,000 or the $1,800 or the $995 or whatever it is you're looking to sell. You have to give them a logical reason why. And saying because the other guy sucks isn't it. Anyway, folks.
Yeah, good stuff.
This is the top 10. We hope it's been useful. You can reach out to me on Facebook, Hugo Drax on Facebook. You can reach me at office@adja.org. You can contact us via phone. I know that's that old-fashioned thing that people actually talked on at 888-723-5776. And John and I are going to be back with more exciting topics about how your success can be made stronger.
Yep, I was taking some notes on some future show ideas, and we got
Awesome.
some really good things I think we can pull from this tonight. So, Drax, thank you much for being with me today. And again, gang, you guys can get a hold of him, ask questions. Drax is one of the great resources in our industry and helping and guiding people into becoming more profitable. So,
absolutely.
thank you guys.
Thanks again.
You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.